People is pleased to present 40 Days 40 FinTechs, an initiative under its Include Everyone program, as it continues to lead the way in advocacy for the creation and dissemination of technology that enables financial inclusivity. The 40 Days 40 FinTechs is shining a spotlight on those that are breaking down digital barriers and bringing millions more on the continent into the transactional space and transforming their lives for the better.
My name is Ronald Azairwe. I'm the Managing Director of Pegasus Technologies. And Pegasus Technologies has been in existence since 2007. So this September we celebrate 14 years of existence. And over our lifetime we've built quite a number of applications or solutions that have come onto the market. I believe the very first was the bill payment solution that allowed people to digitally pay their bill payments. We've also developed school fees solutions. We've developed, we are one of the only FinTechs that is PCI DSS certified. So it gives us the ability to do card payments. So we do card payments. We had the very first university payment solution called MarkPay. We also do USSD. We aggregate USSD and SMS. We have what we call the PegPay solution. That does quite a bit of aggregation, quite a lot of aggregation for digital payments. We have things like eCash that enable the payment of allowances and other out-of-pocket payments for government officials and MDAs. We were the makers of the flagship FlexiPay solution that was the first merchant solution in the market to allow merchants to receive payments digitally using mobile money and through bank accounts. So those are some of our solutions. There are quite a number of others. We have billing systems that the Ministry of Water uses for all its bill collections. So we have quite a number of solutions that we've developed over the years. But largely what we do is we do integrations for any institution that wants to accept digital payments or wants to make digital payments, what we call pay-ins and payouts. COVID has highlighted the need for us to move away from cash money, paper money. And it was, in a strange, twisted way, a blessing in disguise, because people began to realize the need to go digital. Now, for anyone to put their product out there to accept digital payments, one of the things they require is reliability. The thing that cash offers many businesses, which we in the digital space need to understand, is the reliability of cash. When someone goes to a supermarket and pays cash and takes goods and services, that's payment is complete within that time limit, and it is a sure way of making a sale. People want to understand that even in digital transactions can happen in real time, conclude in real time, and if there's any issue, there will be sufficient support to understand what has happened. So what we did as Pegasus is we positioned ourselves to be able to continue supporting anyone that has decided to take digital payments. And we've put up quite a number of platforms to support these people. We've put up what we call ticketing systems, so that in any time that a payment cannot be traced, you can reach us on any of those platforms and we'll trace the payment for you. But much more than that, we've also made sure that the payment from the customer to the recipient or the merchant happens in real time. So that in real time, when someone makes a sale, they're able to see the money either on their bank account or on their telecom OVA in real time. And this gives them the same assurance that cash does, so that when someone pays, you know that when someone pays cash and you put it in a till, that sale is complete. So we had to replicate that same mechanism to ensure that when someone makes a sale, a digital sale, that money is reflected within their bank account or their OVA in real time. Here in Africa, economies are largely controlled by governments. And when I say by governments, government is the biggest spender of money. And so one of the things that has been done gladly by government, for example, is that it has introduced regulation for people that are participating in this space. Initially, the industry was unregulated. And unregulated industry simply also means that people may not have the ability to trust it so much. Now, with regulation, it allows people to trust the industry, to know that when we give money to Pegasus, someone is watching over Pegasus to make sure Pegasus does the right thing. So regulation does that, but it also it creates a structured place in which we can all play. So that's one of the biggest things that government has done. But if you also take the recent case of the COVID payouts to the vulnerable groups, for the first time we saw government making payments in digital form. And this gives people confidence that government is now participating in these digital transactions, and therefore these digital transactions are safe. So as far as education goes, I think government has done well to, number one, put out the right legislation, which resulted into regulation, but number two, to itself participate in some of these digital payments. What can be done more is to see more government payments being done digitally, and government itself to begin to recognize e-value as money. You know, currently there's no law that allows government to recognize e-value as money. You can't go and say you're paying a government institution using e-cash and they take that. But what they do is that that money must first end up on a bank account somewhere before it's recognized. We need to move that to a place where even digital payments done to government in real time are recognized as value, and government can reuse that e-value collected to make onward payments. So once that's done, and here I speak purely from the government perspective, I think that will go a long way to close the loop. But also we need to see many more merchants participate. A merchant being anyone that sells goods or services. The more merchants we have in here, the easier it will be for people to go to digital payments. I've already given an example of the two institutions, National Water and Umeme, who closed cash offices. If we can see many more people closing cash offices and opting for digital payments, I think that would be a very good place. We should see a place where banks no longer accept school fees payments over the counter. That will force people to pay school fees digitally. We should see situations where landlords no longer accept cash. People will be forced to pay digitally. So even the private sector should allow merchants, people like hospitals. Why should you go and pay money at a hospital? Hospitals should accept only digital payments, either by card or by mobile money, but digital in any sense. So I think for me, that's where we need to begin to go. How can we give merchants the freedom and the liberty to suspend all cash payments and accept only digital payments? We do not yet have the likes of Alibaba or Amazon. But what we have is a change of mindset where people are beginning to realize that most of the solutions we have, most of the problems we have or challenges, we can solve digitally. And so we're beginning to see people thinking about how to address solutions digitally and not using manual methods. And what that's going to do is it's going to grow the industry. But we've also seen the platform owners, people like the telecoms who own these platforms, the banks which are now beginning to set up these platforms, they're becoming more aware about the power of these digital payments. And so we are seeing a complete change of mind. And for me, I think the industry is still new, it's young, it's nascent, but it has absolutely limitless possibilities. I'm happy to say that even though the economy is still almost 80% cash-based, the change of mindset, the penetration of mobile phones, the education levels are all conspiring to make sure that we see a lot of movement from cash to digital. So I'm enthused. I'm quite anticipating what this industry is going to be in the next 10 years. So I believe we're on the right track. And people like high people that are causing awareness. One of the biggest things that people underlook is awareness. I mean, you could develop the best thing out, but if people don't know it, no one will use it. So the creation of awareness through groups like High People and quite a number of others, and associations that are coming up like FITSPA, which are empowering technology companies like ours and many others out there. I think this is a step in the right direction. It gives us a voice to be able to reach people. When we began, for us, there were no associations like this, or there were no programs like 40 Days, 40 FinTechs. And we literally had to cut our way through the bushes and the shrubs. What what programs like 40 Days, 40 FinTechs has done is that it's given the other FinTechs a chance, the ones that are still new now, it's an empowerment platform to allow them, number one, the power to interact with the ones that have gone ahead of them. If a new industry, rather a new FinTech came up today and said, we want to interact with Pegasus, you guys could play that bridging role and have them maybe piggyback on some of our rails or infrastructure that we've put in place over the years. They have a product, they don't have the rails, maybe the connections to the telecoms. You guys would connect them with us, we'd give them that. And so the growth of the arrival of such programs allows the people that are developing, beyond just the education, it gives them the ability to interact with those who have gone ahead of them, to share experiences, to share synergies, to piggyback on available infrastructure. And for me, I think that's how industries grow. If you look at people like Amazon, Amazon gives an infrastructure to millions of merchants who are selling. Millions of merchants. I mean, you go to Amazon and see how many people are selling their goods on Amazon. Why don't we have a local Amazon in Uganda? And so programs like this that bring together people in the same industry and those who are beginning, I think are a first step in achieving some of these things. There are very many forums on which you can reach Pegasus. The quickest one is pegasus.co.ug, www.pegasus.co.ug.
40 Days 40 FinTechs is presented in proud partnership with Crosslake Technologies, Modus Box, Modular Foundation, and Level 1 Projects.